So tonight I have a sample from my great friend Amanda from that Bourbon Dude Facebook group and our Discord channel where we're in there every night. This is an Oban single malt. It is 15 years. It is port cask finished, and it's 104.2 proof. So I don't have anything in the bottle to show you. I sipped a little bit of this the other night just to kind of give it a little test run, and I was quite impressed. So I'm not going into this one completely blind. It's got a pretty good color on it for a Scotch. 15 years isn't, while it isn't young, um, when you think of like what you get out of a bourbon versus a Scotch, it's on the about the middle age on a Scotch. Um, the Oban Distillery is on the west coast of Scotland, right on the edge. There's a small gap between it and the Isle of Mull, and that's where you get into the islands um, and all that. So it's on that far edge, so you get a little bit of that uh, salty sea spray environment. Um, they do peat their whiskey, but it is very subtle. Like it's very, very subtle. Um, I've had, I guess it was about a year and a half ago, I bought a little set um, that had little, maybe 150 milliliter bottles in it. Um, and there was like 6 or 8 different ones. And I wanted to say that Oban, and I don't know if you say it Oban or Oban, anyway, Oban, um, I want to say it was an 8 year, and it was pretty good. Um, so I almost don't get the peat on it whenever I taste it, like because I'm used to the more punchy ones like the Ardbegs and Lafroigs, uh, Port Charlotte, stuff like that. On the nose, this is this nose is amazing. It is very fruit dominant. I don't know. I don't know enough about the original um, uh, port barrels. I don't know much about port. All I know is port is it's a fortified wine that comes from Portugal. Um, I've never had it, so I can't really. I don't know really to pick out that flavor. I was looking at this, and these are originally aged in American oak hogshead, which I should have looked up what the volume a hogshead is, but it's a big barrel. It's not like your typical 53 gallon barrel. But then it's finished in the port. It's very it's dense and fruity. I get typical that peach pear stewed fruit note that I get on a lot of scotches, but there's something darker there, almost I'm hesitant to say raisiny, but it's somewhere in that vicinity. That peat note is there and then it's gone. Um, the whiskey itself does not, this whiskey itself does not remind me of like a Dewar's 12 year, but that peatiness, because there is a slight smoke on that Dewar's blended scotch, and it's almost like that. Now, the actual flavor is completely different. It's very much like the nose. It's it's that food fruit, but it's still that little bit darker. And I don't quite want to call it raisin, but that's maybe like fig or something. And finish. There's a there's a crispness to it, and it lingers. Um, there's a slight, very slight bitterness, but it's almost like a fruity bitterness. It's very good. That's not a negative in any way. Oh, man on the nose. I think I'm going to give that a 2.5 out of 3. The palate. Um, I think I'm going to give that a 2.5. Yeah, 2.75. Because it's just phenomenal. There is a malty funk to it that I get on some of these, and I really like that. The finish, I'm going to give it a 2.5 because it does hang around for a little bit, but it's not super present after a while. And then for the value, so I looked up as I was looking up information on it. It said the SRP on this is around 130. Um, it is really good. I don't think it's quite $130 good. Um, I'm not saying I wouldn't pay that if it's one of those that if that's the price, it is what it is. I would rather see it probably down. Um, I think it's would be ridiculous to think it ought to cost $80 because it's just not going to happen. But I don't think it ought to be over 100. So I think if you could get this in it's somewhere around the 95, like maybe if you thought you found a good deal on it, and you got it for 90, but not over 100. So on the value, I'm going to give it a 0.75. So what does that give me for my total? 8.5. So that is squarely into the more gooder category there. So yes, that is that's a solid scotch. And if you're, it is one that while it's on the pricier end to be a beginner, if maybe you're more familiar with scotch and you want to try something, let's say you've hit all the beginner whiskeys and you're wanting to get into peat, uh, but you don't want to get you don't want to get blown away by it. This would definitely be a good. The price kind of keeps it from being a beginner, but the peat level is what I'm saying. If you're not accustomed to peat, but you've had some experience with scotch and you want to try something, and maybe you're a little timid about it, this would be an excellent. And look at see if y'all. Yeah, just drop my phone. It's got some decent legs on it. So Oban 15 port cast finish. That's my take on it, and I hope y'all enjoyed.